Okay, year 2, your maths learning this week is all about splitting things into halves and quarters. Now, you've been asked to create a sandwich for Mr. Grinlin, for Mrs. Grinlin to send him across to his lighthouse for his lunch, and then to use that sandwich to cut it first into half and then into quarters. When we split something into half, we split that into two pieces, two parts. Okay, but the really important thing is that they have to be equal. They have to be fair, okay? Equal parts. So, if Miss Nixon was to have a circle, do you think I have split this in half? I have split this in two equal parts. No, that's right. It isn't fair. The parts aren't the same. So, we need to make sure that they are equal. It's fair. Think about if I had a packet of sweets and I was to share them with you. We were to split them in half. It would only be fair if we both had the same number of sweets, okay? So I've now shaded in half of my circle. If I was to split something in quarters, I would have 4 parts. And again, they have got to be equal. It's got to be fair. Okay, so this time I'm going to draw a square. Do you think Miss Nixon has made that equal? Are all of these 1, 2, 3, 4 parts the same size? No, you're right. Well done. So they're not equal. They aren't the same. So Miss Nixon's going to have a go now. It's quite hard when you're doing it freehand. I'm going to try and make them a bit more equal. So we've got split into quarters, split into 4. Now, if Miss Nixon wanted to colour in just 1 quarter, 1 part out of our 4, I would just shade in 1 square, 1 quarter. If Miss Nixon was to shade in 2 quarters, the top number tells us how many parts we need to colour. So 2 quarters, we would need to colour in 2 of the squares. And you might notice something here. Have a look at these. Do you notice something about these? That's right. It's split equally. We've coloured in half of the shape. So 1 half is the same as 2 quarters. So we could write 2 quarters or 1 half. And underneath here, have a look at what it's asking us for. How many quarters, how many parts of our shape need to be coloured? The number on the top, so it tells us it's split into 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts, and I need to shade in 3 of those. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's how we would work out the colouring quarters and halves of given shapes. They must be equal, remember. So, once you've had a go at colouring in the different shapes on the worksheet Miss Nixon has given, put on our Hub Learning page, you will need to find halves and quarters of numbers. Now, sounds really tricky, but you're all super clever and I know you'll do an amazing job. So, if Miss Nixon had 10 sweets, so half of 10, and I'm going to share them with Miss Nixon. And I'm going to share my sweets with Miss Jones. We need to make sure that it's fair. So we will take it in turns to give the sweets out. So 1 for Miss Nixon, and I've got to find half of 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've shared out my 10 sweets between two equal people parts. So now I need to count to make sure Miss Nixon and Miss Jones have got the same number of sweets, that it is fair. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miss Nixon has 5 sweets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Miss Jones has 5 sweets. Are these numbers equal? Are they the same? Yes. Half of 10 equals 5. Okay, this is where it gets tricky, but persevere, have a growth mindset. I know you can do it. Now we are going to find a quarter of, and I'm going to choose 12. So my number I need to look at is number 12. And I'm splitting it into a quarter. So how many people, how many groups do I need to share my number between? That's right, 4. So today, Mrs. Evans and Miss Bundy are lucky because Miss Nixon, well, I tell you what Miss Nixon will do. I'll put an N for Nixon, a J for Jones, an E for Evans, and a B for Bundy. 1, 2, 3, 4 people, quarters. And the number I'm looking at is number 12. So I'm going to share my 12 sweets between my 4 people. 4 are quarters. 4 parts to make one whole. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, yes. Right, I'm going to check now to make sure they're equal, make sure it's fair. Miss Nixon has 1, 2, 3. Miss Jones, 1, 2, 3. Mrs. Evans, 1, 2, 3. Miss Bundy, 1, 2, 3. Are all of these numbers equal? Are they all the same? Yes, they are. A quarter of 12 is 3. Some of you might work it out this way, which is okay. That you know half of 12 is 6. Then you might half this number again. So you half it once and then you half it again. So half of 6 is 3. Does that give us the same answer? It does. So you then, guys, just... Miss Nixon thinks this one's easier, drawing a picture. But if you find it easier to half this number once and then half it again, so that you're splitting it into 4 parts, then that's okay. You can do it that way too. I can't wait to see your learning, guys. Make sure you're reading what it's asking you for when you're colouring in your shapes. It could be asking you for a half. It might be asking you for 1 quarter or 3 quarters. And your numbers, make sure you're checking. Lots of them ask for half and some more ask for you to find a quarter. Okay, I can't wait to see you learning, guys. I know you're going to be amazing. Speak to you all soon.